Here is why your cat insists on pushing things off edges and what it has to do with you. Number 1. Wild at heart. A lot of your cat's habits are prompted by instinct, even the strangest ones, like knocking everything you own off tables, shelves, or anywhere else there appears to be an edge and a sudden drop. It might seem pointless or just a way to be mean, but it's really just part of who your cat is. This particular habit is caused by their hunting instinct. Every cat has it, even your lazy, housebound furball. It's why they spend so long chasing that catnip mouse, playing with a piece of string, or watching the birds through the window. On average, they'll spend 3 to 10 hours a day hunting. It's that important to them. Inanimate objects trigger your cat's hunting instincts too. If they see something odd, they'll tap at it with their paws and watch it hit the ground. They're not taunting you with their mischief. They're just curious and probably wondering whether they need to hop down and subdue their prey properly. Give them more appropriate targets to focus their hunting instincts on. A cat tree by a window gives them somewhere comfortable to sit as they watch birds. But also consider a variety of toys to spice up playtime and use puzzle feeders so your cat feels like they're working for their food. Number 2. Give me entertainment. This hunting instinct is a powerful one. It gives your cat an itch to keep their mind and body active by figuring out how to outsmart prey and chase it. In the wild, or when they're exploring outdoors, cats have more opportunities to feed this instinct. There are all sorts of new sights, smells, and prey to discover. Indoor cats, however, have far less opportunity to satisfy their craving for activity. Some cat parents don't realize their cat needs to have interesting toys to play with, and they end up with a very bored, very frustrated kitty. Unfortunately, for whatever item you've placed on the edge of that table, a bored cat isn't afraid to find something to amuse themselves with. They'll knock something off an edge just to see if it's interesting enough to play with. Make sure you cater to their hunter's heart by giving them a variety of enrichment activities. Toys you can play with together are fun for everyone, but don't forget toys they can interact with on their own. Play tunnels and cat trees give your cat somewhere to practice their climbing and ambush techniques too. Number 3. Monkey see, monkey do. Did you know a lot of your cat's bad habits are something you've taught them, oftentimes completely by accident? Knocking things off edges is one such example. To start with, your kitty might knock something harmless off of an edge. They might push your toothpaste into the sink or bat the TV remote off the coffee table. Maybe you left a water bottle on the kitchen counter, only to find it on the floor 5 minutes later. Either way, the habit starts out adorable. It's funny, so why wouldn't you laugh and turn it into a game? With everything your cat knocks flying, you're there putting it back to start the process all over again. You're both having a blast. The problem is, this habit doesn't stay cute for long. Once your cat figures out that pushing things off edges is fun, and that it makes you happy, they don't limit themselves to safe objects. To them, there's no difference between an empty water bottle and a bottle of wine. They don't even care about the difference between that priceless and very breakable collectible you've had for years and a plastic toy. If there's an object and a nearby edge, your cat knows what to do. Number 4. On the quest for attention. Of course, ignoring mischief is easier said than done. Have you noticed your cat always seems to do what they're not supposed to after you've already told them not to do it? It's easy to think they're being spiteful and saying, "You can't tell me what to do," or channeling their inner child who has a serious lack of impulse control. But the truth is, most cats don't do things to be mean at all. They just want your attention. It's very easy to fall into the trap of letting your cat amuse themselves, especially when you're busy with work or chores. A lot of kitties are naturally independent, and they don't mind being left to their own devices. But that doesn't mean they don't appreciate your time and attention. Some cats thrive on being social more than others, but even more loner types are fond of a good chin scratch. If your cat starts to feel lonely, they'll do anything they can to solve the problem themselves. Sometimes it's not always easy to get your attention, especially if you're busy. So they do things like push your favorite plate off its shelf because it gets you up and paying attention. Okay, they'd prefer you weren't yelling while placing them back on the floor, but hey, it worked. Ignoring the behavior is the best solution, and it works for both attention-seeking and doesn't reinforce the behavior. Your reaction is a big part of what makes knocking things flying fun. By making the action as boring as possible, you'll quietly teach your cat that pushing things off edges isn't as fascinating as they think it is. But don't forget to make other things more interesting, like playing with that feather teaser toy more often. Number 5. That smells good. We've covered mostly inanimate objects that your cat pushes off edges so far. Water bottles, TV remotes, or glassware seem to be especially interesting to felines of all shapes, sizes, and ages. But what about that empty box of donuts that's on the way to the trash? It might be a box, but your cat can't get into it. Surely they don't actually want to sit in it. Or what about that sealed plastic pot of cheesy dip? The thing is, cats aren't just interested in how the object falls. They're also incredibly intelligent. Those food smells that accompany the sight of that box get their brain into hunting mode. They might not even be hungry, but they still want to investigate whatever goodies are in that pot. Knocking food containers off a counter is a good way to get them open when you don't have opposable thumbs to open a jar with. It might end up in a big mess, but that's fine with your cat. It gives them more of a chance to sniff or steal a few bites. The more enticing or strong-smelling the food is, the more interested your cat will be. This is why it's always a bad idea to leave food items out where your cat can reach, even in a sealed container. Some wily cats quickly figure out a way to gnaw at the plastic until it breaks, or they just shove it to the ground and watch it burst open. Number 6. What's that? Sometimes your cat's curiosity isn't inspired by lingering food smells at all. Pushing something off an edge could be because they're investigating a new object that wasn't on the countertop before. Cats investigate the world with their eyes and nose. Yes, but they also use their mouth and paws. When your cat stumbles across an item that's close to an edge, they might sniff at it or stare in bemusement. Or, most likely, they'll start to bat at it with their paws. It's their way of figuring out whether it's something that will be fun to play with. While everything can be shoved off an edge, not all fallen items move in a way that gets your cat hopping down to continue playing. Number 7. Out of the way. Feline coming through. You've probably experienced the hassle of wanting to do something only to find all sorts of things in the way, like trying to cook a meal and finding the kitchen counters full of dirty dishes the rest of the family just hasn't cleaned up. Maybe you're not as likely to knock everything on the floor as your cat would, but the urge is probably there. Honestly, we would probably knock everything off edges too if it didn't mean more to clean up later. Cats are the definition of intrepid explorers. They'll jump up on everything they can to sniff around, explore, and satiate their curiosity about what goes on above ground level. Not every shelf they find themselves on is always accessible though. Sometimes there's just too much stuff in the way for them to investigate or sit properly. In this case, pushing things off the edge to make space can be both deliberate and a complete accident. Sometimes there simply isn't enough room for everything and your cat just happens to knock something that was already too close to the edge. Other times they just want to stretch out and those books are just in the way. Down they go. Number 8. Oh, what fun! When all is said and done, a lot of your cat's behavior can be explained by one thing. It's just plain fun. They might have all the toys in the world, but somehow still find the energy to knock your coffee onto the floor. It's perplexing, but sometimes fun is all it comes down to. Having fun is always a good thing, and your cat loves it as much as you do. So they try to find ways to make their day a little brighter by having as much fun as possible. Sometimes that's rolling in catnip or taking a cat nap in the sun. Or it could be climbing onto the kitchen cabinets via the top of the fridge. Sometimes having fun is just as simple as knocking things off a table and watching them roll around on the floor. It's a great stress reliever. A good sign that your cat is having fun is when their pupils dilate. But that's not all this odd sign says about your feline. Check out this video to learn more reasons why their eyes dilate and what it has to do with you.